Well, guys, 2025 is upon us. And for the next few weeks, we're going to be wrapping up 2024, looking at some of the best figures I was able to pick up over the course of the entire year. Now, we're going to start off with what was the main line for Transformers, kind of inarguably, I would say, that being Transformers Legacy United. This is the third part of the Legacy series, and in all honesty, I thought it was the best one. I thought Legacy 1 was interesting, but maybe had a little bit too G1. Legacy Evolution had some hiccups here and there. Meanwhile, with Legacy United, I don't think there was a single bad toy. I don't think that all these guys were breathtaking, but all of them were at least pretty solid. And it gave me my favorite Titan from the Legacy line, it gave me my favorite Commander, it gave me my favorite Voyager. It was just a great third act to what was a pretty solid trilogy overall. And now, we're just going to wrap it up, looking at the top 10 Transformers Legacy United figures I got in 2024. I didn't get every Legacy United guy, but I did get most of them. And I'm also rolling Buzzworthy Bumblebee into this as well, which is why I have the Cliffjumper Dies 4-pack figures kind of scattered throughout here as well. These are just the toys I own, the toys I like, it's just my opinion, but let's get started. Top 10 Legacy United figures. At number 10, and the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Cliffjumper 4-pack, this is Squeeze Play. Now you're going to see that I run fast and loose with multi-packs. Sometimes I'm going to count them as one entry, sometimes I'll divvy them up. And that's because the Cliffjumper pack had some high highs and some, well, not lows, but some painful averages. Cliffjumper wasn't great. Tarn was cool, but was basically the other Tarn. Squeeze Play, and someone we're going to talk about later, were the true standouts of the box set. Squeeze Play has a wonderful beast mode. He's an incredible remold of the Titan's Return Mind Wipe, which is one of the best molds from Titan's Return. But you want to know the real reason he's number 10? You want to have an idea as to why he stayed on the list when I bumped people like Vector Prime, Hot Shot, Animated Optimus, Magmatron? I'll tell you why. It's because he has a Glock. I don't know why. It got me in the review, and even still, I can't get over this. He just has an actual gun. And I know that that's Browning, I know that that's a character, but it's still funny to me, the idea that, like, everyone else has, like, these laser rifles and no-rays and fusion cannons, and then Squeeze Play walks up with just an actual Glock. My favorite thing is, like, every so often I'll, like, be playing with them or be posing them. Just the idea that the Decepticons are like, oh man, the Autobots are gonna wreck us. Get Squeeze Play in here, and then you just see Squeeze Play, and he's like, it just goes in, starts actually shooting people. Optimus Prime orders a retreat because he didn't know they were gonna bring real guns to the battle. That's my headcanon for Squeeze Play, is everyone else made the agreement that we're not using real guns, and then he just brings an actual gun. Megatron's too scared to say anything. I love Squeeze Play. That's the reason why he's number 10. This exact happiness I get from that dumb accessory. At number 9, it's Cyberverse Windblade. I just think this is the best Windblade toy ever made. The jet looks great, and the transformation to get there is like a greatest hits. It's funny, you put all the Windblades together, right? You put like the Thrilling 30 Windblade and the Titan's Return Windblade and this Windblade like in a row. And you can see they basically do the same transformation, but each time they did it a little bit better. You could throw the RID Windblade in there too with the same idea. And it's just been interesting to see the evolution of this design over time. I do think that the Cyberverse Windblade is the best Windblade design overall. I like how they bulked out her proportions, I like how her wings work, and the toy overall is just a ton of fun. One of the absolute best deluxes of the year, which is insane because she was in Wave 1. I do like the Slipstream too, but the original did this mold so much better. At number 8, it is the United Chromia. I didn't like Legacy Evolution Prowl. I just thought the design didn't work, I didn't like the transformation, and yet a new coat of paint and some remolding and we get Chromia. I think this is the best remold in my collection. It took a toy I didn't enjoy and turned it into one of my absolute favorites. It helps that I've always had a soft spot for Chromia. Revenge of the Fallen Chromia was one of my childhood toys. I still don't have a new version of that toy. But because of that, Alita 1 and Chromia and RC, that's like the holy trinity of the female Autobots to me. And I have a lot of good RCs, I have a lot of good Elita 1s. I didn't really have a good Chromia until basically this one. And in the time since I've gotten this guy, I've gotten the Generations Chromia, I've got a few more Chromias, but I still think this is the best one overall. A great motorcycle, a great transformation, good accessories, and just a killer head sculpt. Sick head sculpt. Admittedly, she doesn't really work for Cyberverse Chromia. It doesn't look anything like she does in the cartoon, but as an IDW Chromia, she's perfect. Absolutely what I'd want from the character. And for that reason, she had to make it onto the list. At number 7, there's a toy that would have been possibly in the top 3 if there wasn't a repaint of it I liked more, but it's United Gears. They took Gears, right? One of the most boring G1 toys. Such a simple transformation that's like almost mind-numbing in how simple it is. A true one-stepper. And then they made this toy, which has one of the best transformations I've ever seen on a deluxe. Insane amounts of articulation. Check this out, right? That's Gears doing this, by the way. Grumpy old man Gears doing the splits. The proportions are incredible, the colors are ace, the head sculpt is exactly what I'd want out of Gears. It does exactly what a good toy should do. It took a character I have no interest in. I don't care about Gears. But the toy's so good, it made me go back and rewatch some of the Gears episodes from G1, like Changing Gears. I reread some of the very few appearances he's had in the comics. I'm still not a Gears fan. But when a toy is so good that it makes me want to reevaluate how I look at a character, I think that speaks to just the absolute quality of it. I might never be the biggest Gears fan, but I'll sing the praises of this toy every single day. And it is cool that after 40 years, a usually forgotten member of the 84 cast finally got his due in plastic form. At number 6, it's one of the few figures I keep in their alternate mode, because it's prototype toy Tarantulas from the Cliffjumper 4-pack. I love the Tarantulas toy already, I thought it was so good, but there's something about this guy, which is just even better to me. And the robot mode looks good, I like the robot mode a lot, but then the spider mode, like the colors, the fact that this is more the colors that you would see in a real life spider, it just makes this feel even more creepy and unnerving and perfect. Like, look at the spider head sculpt. On Tarantulas, I didn't really see it when it was in purple, but when it's in orange, you can see just how much detail is there. The mandibles, the eyes, the fur. This guy is such a wonderful looking spider toy. The robot mode just adds to it, but this guy never is going to be the robot mode on my shelves. He's always going to be the spider mode, and he's going to look amazing doing it. At number 5, it's Tidal Wave. This guy is massive, too good for his own good, and yet he's so great! Just an absolute brick behemoth of a figure. The transformation's still really nice. I do wish that there was some of the playability of the original Tidal Wave still here. It'd be nice to get Ramjet, it'd be nice to have the elevator gimmick, it would have been nice to be able to do the big ship straight to big robot. But at the same time, I don't care. It's a perfect or near perfect Tidal Wave. A massive, massive, massive toy. Exactly what I'd want from one of my favorite characters, from one of my favorite franchises in all of Transformers. My entire life, I've wanted an update of the original Tidal Wave toy, and this is it. And does it have its flaws? Yeah, just like the original, it has some problems. But it's still just a beauty of a figure. I love the face sculpt, I love the colors. The only thing that could have made this toy better for me is if it were in the toy colors. And that's just because I really love the PS2 Armada game, and I love, of course, the original Tidal Wave toy. I like the toy more than I like his character in the show, if I'm being honest with you. But it's also kind of cool that I have the toy, and now I have the anime accuracy. So what I'm thinking is, if Fans Hobby ever does toy colors for their Tidal Wave, I'll get that guy, and then I'll have basically all the Tidal Waves that I want, except for the Tides Return Tidal Wave. I still need to get him too. I'm really happy to have this guy, and that he turned out so well. I know a lot of people have issues with how he turned out, and I hear ya, he has problems, he does. But those problems don't matter, because he's a friggin' aircraft carrier that turns into a massive robot, and he looks like Zeus. He is sick. One of the best figures in my entire collection, and I'm so happy to have him on board. In what might be my most controversial placement on this entire list, at number 4, making up Mount Rushmore as a collective three-way tie, it is the Generation Select's GoBots. Look, you took 3 of the best deluxe molds in years and gave them better color schemes. Treads looks better than Warpath. Space Case, I think, looks better than Cosmos. And Smallfoot looks better than Gears. It helps that, generally speaking, I like these characters more. Cosmos is fine, but I prefer Space Case. I actually do prefer Warpath to Treads, but then Smallfoot is one of my favorite GoBot characters, and it just doesn't hold a candle. Gears is a nobody, basically. Smallfoot is one of the GoBots that actually could make a comeback if they ever wanted to. It makes me hope that we get more GoBots, because we have these guys, we have Bugbite, we have Road Ranger. Whenever they do a Power Glide, they're probably going to make Bad Boy. We already have Crasher. What I'd really love is to see Psykill. That's who I really want, is I want Hasbro to make us a good Psykill. It would be great to get Leader 1 and Turbo, maybe Scooter, Copter. That way you have the main 6. What I want, really, is for Walmart or Target or someone to do one of those store-exclusive lines and it to all be GoBots. I love the GoBots. I do. I think overall GoBots toys are way better than G1 Transformers toys. Their cartoon's a little bit rough, I'll grant you that. But the characters, generally speaking, are fun, and they had great voice actors, and overall, it's a good toy line. One that needs a lot more love. So for all those reasons, this envoy from Gobatron has become who's the 4th person on Rushmore? Would that be Roosevelt? They're the Teddy Roosevelt of this list. Number 3 almost isn't fair, because they're taking the best Transformers Kingdom figure and just gave her a new head and new paint, but I don't care. Star Raiders Filch is number 3, and she was almost number 2 on this list. This is still just a wonderful figure, incredibly articulated. The bird mode looks awesome. The transformation to get there is incredible. The wings in robot mode give you so much personality, and in fact, these wings are remolded and are better than Kingdom Air Razors. And you have such an incredible head sculpt. I love Filch's design overall, and it makes for one of the most fun experiences I've had with Transformers this year. If you watch my review, I just kept losing it for how impressed I was with this toy. I was expecting a complete no-effort rehash. Instead, it was clear that the Hasbro design team put a lot of love into a character that was popular, but never given their proper due. Filch had a few appearances in Robots in Disguise. You never even got to see her robot mode on screen. But now, she has one of the best figures from the entire Legacy United line, and is the best figure from the Star Raiders set. I think that she's just an incredible toy overall. And she was number 2 for a long while, but there's one toy that I had to switch around. He was number 3, but in my heart of hearts, I think I knew he was always going to be one of the top contenders. At number 2, it's Animated Universe Motormaster. I think that they took what was a really boring Optimus. I did not like the Legacy United animated Optimus. And yet as Motormaster, it has spunk. It has zazz to it. It's near perfect. The thing I love most about this toy is it was the first time since I was a kid that it felt like I was opening a new animated toy. Like the motions here, the transformation here, how the joints feel, how the figure looks and poses so naturally. It had animated. It had those design ideas. It didn't feel like Legacy United figures. And I think another big part of it was the colors. All the other animated guys they've done so far, Bumblebee, Prowl, Optimus, they've all been so much darker, so much more saturated, so much duller. Meanwhile, Motormaster is still this popping purple and black and gray. He has the amazing head sculpt here. And my favorite thing is just, you can see the personality. You can hear him going, "Oh, yeah, king of the road, yeah, snap into an Energon cube." You can see the personality. It makes me hope that we're going to get the other animated Stunticons, because they have enough molds, they can make a good set. But even if we only get Motormaster, this might be my favorite Motormaster of all time. He doesn't need to combine. He's not insanely expensive because he was a BotCon exclusive. He took a mold that had potential and recognized that potential. He is an absolute beaut of a figure, an absolute delight in every single way. I love this Motormaster. He is possibly my favorite figure to just pull off the shelf and pose with that came out this year. I can't tell you how many times I've been here at my review stand coming up with ideas, and I just find new things to put him in, try to find a Miss Elizabeth for him to hang out with, find a Hulk Hogan for him to beat up. He is just a delight. But there is one toy that I would put above him this year. At number 1, it's Legacy United Cybertron Universe Starscream. They took the best Starscream design and made it more articulated. I've been able to mess with the original Cybertron Starscream mold now, and I can say that in my opinion, this guy outdoes him on every level. Is that figure larger? Yes. Is he bulkier? Yes. Does he have spring-loaded gimmicks? Yes. But his transformation isn't as fun, and his limbs aren't as proportionate. This Starscream, though, is just amazing. The head sculpt is everything you could possibly want out of a Starscream. You have the flip-out gimmicks still, even though now, of course, they're not spring-loaded. But you still have the 2 swords. He comes with a gun. His jet mode is just perfect, exactly how it looked in the cartoon. He's able to assume so many wonderful poses with absolutely no issue. He is just perfect. My favorite toy of Starscream ever, I think. And one that will gladly always be at the front of any shelf he's a part of. And there it is, my Mount Rushmore of Legacy United 2024. Now, I honestly would say this is one of the best years Generations has had in a very long time. I can't think of a dud that came out in Legacy United. There were some that I weren't too big on, Bumblebee comes to mind, but all the toys at least had something unique, something going for them. And the cream of the crop, it raised to the top, baby. It was just pitch perfect. And it's crazy because you look, and in my top 4, you have repaints and remolds, and of course some new molds. But I feel like that was the strength of Legacy United. They found what worked in Legacy and Legacy Evolution and applied all the correct lessons to Legacy United, giving us some awesome toys. I didn't get every single toy that came out this year. There's so many good ones that I've not been able to get my hands on. But that doesn't change the fact that this was such a standout year. Now, that was the first top 10. In a few days, we're going to be going over another. And in fact, every week in January, there's going to be at least a couple top 10s, just so that we can go over every major series, every major section of the collection in this year. But we started off strong with some incredible toys